No, I didn't have the music on. It was absolutely silent in here, and I was still vibing. But I had you thinking that the sound didn't work for 5 seconds. Nothing wrong with the sound. Just me in here being a fool. Yo, we're back. The Minkle Jackson Show presents Lunchtime TV. I'm your host, Minkle Jackson. I'm just here to stop by, see how everybody's doing. Check the pulse of the people, man. I'm in here thriving, progressing. That's what we do, man. Every day is an opportunity. I've been reading this book that who gave me this damn book? I bet it was Mark. I have a lot of people who give me books, and yeah, guess what? I don't read them. Sometimes Buddy just be forgetting, but lately I've been trying to get better about, getting an hour or two a day worth of reading. I feel like I do get that, but mainly just because of what I do during the course of the day, which is, I teach. So when I teach, obviously we have an hour where we spend time reading, doing things like that. Gab, what's cracking? But I get that reading time, but it's not the same as when you're soaking up content that you feel is, stuff that I, you need. Oh, he's about to text me. Well, you know what? I'm on the show. So anyway, right now, Gab, I'm talking about a book that I'm reading. I think Mark gave me this book. The book's called Truce by Rob Hill Sr. Healing Your Heart After Disappointment. And it's interesting when you start getting into it because for me, I always tend to see ways that all these things that I read and absorb and soak up can be applied to all aspects of my life. So it's a good book. You guys should check it out. Ooh, well, I will say this. This show probably not finna be that great because Buddy is not on the internet and Buddy is me. I have not been trolling the halls of the internet this week because I just listen. I'm taking the time off, man. Y'all, people on there stressing me out. But you know what? It's mad funny. But also, I did discover something about myself. I really do love the memes, man, but there's too many memes on my phone. It's like, why do I have 28,000 memes saved on my phone? Why do I have that? Because I'm Minkle Jackson. But that's not a good enough reason. And I just figured, I don't really actually have to sit on the internet all day. I can just go back through my phone and look at memes if that's what I'm there for. So now the internet low-key has no purpose to me. I do kind of miss Twitter. And I had a Snapchat, but I don't feel like people really fool with me on Snapchat. I feel like my girl just was watching my story, just probably tracking me or something. And I can say that on here because I know she doesn't watch this shit. So anyway, and that's But anyway, what purpose does the internet serve if you're not on there sharing memes all day? And now I don't know. So I really don't have a pulse on the world right now. What is going on? Snap. I kicked it with a couple of my people today. Big shout out to my man Jameer. Shout out to my girl Katie. We went on a walk, man. It's good to kick it with people that I used to work with at the Y. And you know what? I feel like because I don't work at the Y, I'm not going to bash the Y. This is not what this is. But I love telling funny stories about the Y. And I think I'm going to have a whole episode coming up where I tell stories about my time at the Y. And they're actually, most of them are pretty kid-friendly because it's not like anything crazy. It's just about staff doing wild stuff, kids acting up, but it's funny. I think that's going to be one to look out for. And maybe I'll have her come on and tell a story where in the end of the story, a basketball ends up being tossed out of a building out into the middle of a main highway and explodes on impact. It was pretty crazy to see it live action and then again on the security camera. So we might have some storytelling days coming up. I don't know, but it was good to get out and get a walk in, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been on my workout stuff and, shout out to everybody that's noticing, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. Yeah, Gabby worked at the Y for mad long. Yo, it must be in the family. I know you have stories. We got to get you to call in or something, Cuddy. Shit. So I talked about yesterday, we talked about NCAA coming back. I touched on it briefly because it's something that will put me in good spirits. And then I woke up this morning to see them talking about it on Get Up this morning. And guess what? The company announced that there's no date for the release of the game, but that is definitely not happening this year. And I know the ladies can't relate, but you ever been kicked in the nuts? Because that's what that felt like. Because I'm thinking, oh, snap. Couple months we're finna have this game, or at least they'll roll it out in like August, because that's when 2K drops. That's when Madden drops. I'm thinking, oh, August, right? No. Who knows when that game is coming out, man? What a bummer. But yeah, I equate that to being kicked in the nuts. It hurt me pretty bad. But also the poke bowl that I had last night, the spicy tuna from Just Poke in Renton, Washington. Shout out to y'all. I've never given somebody a shout out for making my stomach hurt and having me have to be toilet adjacent the whole day. Listen, last night, Uber Eats copped the large spicy tuna bowl. And maybe I was like, I knew it was going to happen, but I'm like, no. They not finna do me like that, right? It's not them. It's my own damn body. It be your own niggas sometimes. That's the problem. But yeah, man, woke up 4 a.m. abruptly. I'm like, ooh, Lord. Everything was bubbling. And all I could hear was Garth Brooks' old record. When the thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. And that was my stomach telling me that I need to get my ass up and get on that damn toilet. Anyway, shout out to Just Poke and Renton. Oh my God, I might order that shit again tonight. Which I know that just sounds crazy, but if you've ever had this poke spot, then you know that it's lit. So, and that's the beauty of trying new experiences. That's not a new experience for me, but at one point in my life, that was a new experience, and it's one that I'm glad that I did, because now I found out that, listen, poke is actually a better deal than sushi, because when you order sushi, you have to get it by the roll, and they don't really be giving you a lot, but the poke, just get the large, Cuddy. It's like the same thing as a roll, but it's way more food, but you better be careful because it'll make your stomach hurt. Oh, okay. Yo, listen, Gabby, shout out. If you want to come on and tell toilet stories, this is what this show is for. But in all seriousness, it's also for other stuff. So listen, it's Black History Month. So shout out to everybody that's Black. And it's Black History years. We've been here. We're lit, man. Gabby, shout out to you for being a Black woman. Shout out to all my homies that's Black. I don't know why. I just feel like, vibing on that for a minute. Let that just hit you on the skin and rub that in. Shout out to being Black. Black History Month is definitely a month where we honor and, we give praise, we show love, we do shout outs, we do all these things. I think it's wonderful. But every year I always wonder, why do we wait until February to do this? Or why are we only trending when negative crap happens? Like last year around this time is when we start trending for big time negativity. And then people post black squares for the day. They go quiet a little bit. They don't shop at big business. They do all these things because Negroes are trending. And then when the holidays come, everybody got to get in Thanksgiving mode, get in Christmas mode. And then Black folks just aren't as important. And then, you roll into January and it's like, oh yeah, MLK Day. Okay. And then they're like, oh yeah, we F with y'all again. In those last couple of weeks of January, people really ain't saying a whole lot. It's mad quiet. And then February 1st, I see it so much. Even with people that I knew, I low-key, now I wasn't disappointed, but there just is a part of me with some of the white folks that I know. They're like, I don't know, man. Like, but I get it though, because I feel like I started to realize I do it with certain things too. Where you only really popping up to like support these causes when it's convenient. We're all a victim of that, and I figured it out why. I have figured out why. Excuse me. What did I say? I figured it out why. What the hell? That's not even real. Anyway, boy, slap yourself. Listen, I figured out why. Because there's 3 million causes every week. Every week. There's a cause down at the grocery store. Help Johnny save his pet turtle. And then everybody's behind that for 3 days. And then when the turtle don't make it, they got to go down because Gina got caught shoplifting at the Piggly Wiggly, and then they got to get her out because she been on drugs, and they just want her to do right. Like you got to get behind that, and that becomes like your thing, and then it's the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and that's why low key we really only trend for long periods of time when we get murdered, because like a murder or some sort of negative situation where somebody end up losing a life, well, it puts you into grief mode. And then when you go into grief mode, some of the expectation is that people will take a little bit of time out. Like, oh, we might need a little time for this. And then, that's when the vultures come in and they prey on that for a little bit. Like I said, a few days, a couple weeks, sometimes it's months. And then people just kind of shift back to just living regular ass life. And there isn't anything wrong with that, because there is no rule that says you are expected to receive these emotions and then hold on to them for forever and a day. No one tells you that. You're not required to do that. But it is interesting to me for something like just even the simple phrase of Black Lives Matter. It's crazy to me that we had to convince y'all that our lives mattered, and then now it only matters on occasion. And then when Black History Month pops up, you're like, all right, we'll give these niggas a month, and then they got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So like every year we go through this. I talked about this on the show last year. At this point, it just cracks me up, because like we have people who just, like I said, they support when it's like a directive. That's the thing. It's not genuine if you're only doing it because you're kind of told to. Like I love when I go by businesses or even in neighborhoods out here in Seattle, you see people that have these signs up in their window and they'll have them there all year. I've seen some that look older than me. Like maybe some of these people out here came up with this shit. Some of these signs look so old. Obviously, it's probably just, based on science and shit like that. If you have the sign in the window, the sun will hit the sign. It's probably made of cardboard. It will drop. Anyway, it ages the shit. So I get that. But I'm just saying, it looks like they've been repping since jump. But you see some of these places that like they'll put up their stuff based on an upcoming event. Or like a time period, like I said, time period, a month, a couple days here and there. But even think about this. We have all of these freedom fighters and people who stood up on our behalves. Like, and Martin's just a piece of that. He's a big piece. We probably basically hail him as like the Jordan of this stuff. But like, what about all these amazing Black women? What about all these other amazing Black men, children, people who put their lives on the line, things like that? We don't give them day. Why don't they have days? Why is there not a person for every single day? And why do we have to tell you that our lives should matter? That's already the crazy part to me, because I had to convince you that as another human being that I deserve to be here. And then you spit in my face by not making it clear every day that I deserve to be here, and by only, and I low key am kind of speaking on behalf of all, but like I said, it feels like a disrespect that some of you people only pop up when the shit is trending or when it's convenient. So yeah, you thought we wasn't gonna get into it? Of course, boy, I'm here. This is what this show is for. And it was like this last year, and it's gonna be like this next year, and the 15 years after that. If I ever have access to one of these, I'm always gonna bring up the fact that we have been shortchanged yet again. And if you don't believe it, go check tape. And I don't even mean my tape. I mean the history of this whole shebang bang. And you're gonna see what we're talking about. And anybody pretending not to see it, well, I don't know what to tell you. The in-flight movie that you are watching is probably complete garbage. And you're not paying attention. Sometimes people are reluctant to celebrate or grieve or even pray about certain events that have shaped us all. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Thank you for adding to the dialogue, Gabby. I appreciate it. But yo, it really is just crazy because I just see how some of these people act. You know, I moved, like I recently moved, obviously, right? And I moved back to one of my old neighborhoods. So as long as I've been coming down here, which has been since my second year living in Seattle, I just started year 6 on January 9th. My next door neighbor, since my inception to this place, my next door neighbor, who is now my current landlord, has had a sign up, all these signs. And it's not just for black people, it's for everybody. The sign basically states that everybody is welcome. All views and opinions will be respected. People are loved in this area. All of this type of stuff. I love that where I stay at this block, these people don't have to be asked to care, if that makes sense. And they also don't look at people who, look like me, look like my sister, look like a lot of my friends. I feel like a lot of the people I know do not look at us and try to undermine our feelings or try to tell us that, listen, it doesn't really seem like it's that bad. What do you mean? Why don't you guys just do this? And I mean, come on. We've seen other groups too. They've had it just as bad, right? Right. I mean, come on, guys. Isn't that how you hear them all when and you're just looking at them like, huh? Superior, huh? I'm dead. Anyway, but it's Black History Month, man. A lot to be celebrated. A lot of amazing men and women. Shout out to all of the greats. And I think anybody who has ever stepped up on behalf of doing the right thing and change and, trying to just be there for the people, man, this is a month where you should feel celebrated. And I say that and because I feel like myself and all the Black people that I know, we're very welcoming of all people. Because we fuck with everybody. So this is a month where you should feel welcome to come learn our history, engage with our people, ask how you can, lend an ear or a helping hand to this community, ask about upcoming projects and things that people who look like me want to do for their communities, and ask how you can support them, make those things happen for their community. Be there to listen with the intent to understand rather than the intent to reply. You got this. What else is on the docket, man? It's one thing that's really bumming me out though. Like people really, like anytime I bring up the movies, the first thing out of people's mouths, mad negative. Oh, the movies is never opening up again. I don't like that y'all keep telling me that because it keep making it real. I don't want to know that the movies are never going to open up again and that I got to rely on HBO Max, which, by the way, if anybody want to leave their login info in the chat, I really appreciate it because I'm trying to watch that new Denzel movie, man. Hook me up. Stop playing. I need that HBO Max login info. Come on. Please. Nah, if you got it, let me know because I really do want to watch that. Or somebody just record it on their phone and then send me a video file. That'll be equally as good. It doesn't matter. I just want to watch the movie. It looked great. Denzel, Jared Leto. What is Buddy's name? Is it Rami Malek? Is it Malik Rami? I don't know. Great actor though. Recently, I feel like I talked about this on one of my shows. I watched this documentary which was just so crazy. And this dude, well, I forget Buddy's name. Hold up. Yeah, I went to the movie. Before I get into my little quick story, Gabby, I will address your comment. Yes, I actually did go to the movies during the quarantine, like one of the first times when they reopened. And what movie did I see? I saw something, and there was nobody in that thing either. Damn, I was thinking about it earlier, and I forgot it. Well, and me and Shorty went to see Tenet. That was lit. So we did go to that. I forget. I saw some. I think I saw Bad Boys right when quarantine first had hit. I think I seen that by myself. Was that during quarantine? God, it's been so long. Anyway, I forgot what I was even talking about. Oh, this documentary. Okay, so someplace in Ohio, Mansfield or something like that. This guy, as a kid, had to testify against his father to send his father away to prison for life for killing his mother. Crazy. He comes back 27 years later as a Hollywood filmmaker or something like that, and he's doing a documentary. It was very up and down for me because half the time I'm thinking, is this all for play? Is Buddy just playing for the cameras? Because even when he was a kid, and he's on the stand testifying, like he just looks like he's like born to be on TV. Very like charismatic. I don't know, man. It just seemed weird for like a 12-year-old. I feel like most 12-year-olds, like they tense up when they have to be in front of like large groups of adults and they have to talk, you know? Because at that point, you're still like basically looking up, talking to skyscrapers most of the time. That's what adults look like to you when you're a kid. And y'all know that feeling. You know when you're in a room full of adults, you're like, this is how kids be looking. Like scared little dogs and stuff like that. So most kids get nervous, but he looked like he was ready for that. Like knew the cameras was around, all that. And then look, he ended up in film. So listen, I'm not trying to judge Buddy. Shout out to you, Buddy. It takes a lot of courage to come out and do this story about your family and all that. And shout out to your beautiful mother, RIP, all of that. The way Buddy's dad apparently did Shorty was really foul. Something, long story short, I guess Buddy had the side chick got pregnant. Side chick want to have a life. Mom's tired of being played out. Dad claims that she came at him with a knife and then he accidentally pushed her. But the end result is that they found her body buried in their second home under the basement. So even if it was just an accident, you still like took her body from where you killed her to another place. You jackhammered your own basement floor, and then you put her body under there. Not even barely a foot deep. So a very shallow grave. The realtor who sold Buddy the home actually had to testify against him, saying that when she showed him the home, he had a full conversation about what it would be like if he blew out the floor of the basement. And she was like, why would you want to do that? Premeditated. They had the house for years before he killed. So you're talking about years. My guy had been thinking about that. Crazy stuff. So then the young fella apparently is asleep in the bed at night. And he says he hears it. He hears a banging and a scream, all these things. Dice. Basically, he's there for it. So he testifies against his pops. Pops is in prison forever. You're doing real time, Cuddy. Pops was a doctor. And you know how they always try to spin it? Well, he was a very well-respected man around the community. Aren't they all? Like, you know how crazy it is that we let these like certain job titles just fool us into thinking that people are just automatically good. Oh, he's a doctor. He has to be a good person. No, he probably a scumbag because he's a human. Human equals scumbag. We all have that character trait. It's available in us. Some of us don't ever access it because we're just naturally good people. And then some of us are not. I'm some of both. Sometimes I'm a scumbag, but be nice to yourself. But anyway, we just assume that he was a good guy. So they all, like, anytime they interview someone, they're like, I would have never guessed that your dad would have done this to your mother. And then, like, Shorty's best friend, the mom's best friend, was like, oh, yeah, she talked about this all the time. I seen this coming. And it's like, what? Y'all all thought he was good, but then the person who's really close, like, already had seen the shit coming. And then, boom, like, right around Christmas time is murder. That was crazy. Great documentary, though. But towards the end, I really thought Buddy was just playing for the cameras. I don't think he was like just trying to garner sympathy or anything like that. But at the same time, I had a feeling that maybe, like, yes, he was sad. It's tough. It's his mom. The feelings are real. But when you watch it, sometimes you're left thinking like, wait. And I don't know, because you know how they be cutting it. But there was one time he's just like in a full-on deep, ugly cry. And then like 0.3 seconds later, he's just having like the most normal conversation with the guy he was just next to crying. So I'm like, he just turned it off real quick. But it was crazy, man. They even have it, they blur it out. You don't actually see nothing. But he literally went back to the police precinct and looked at pictures of his mom after they pulled her out of the shallow grave. So shout out to my man, because you know the courage you gotta have in order to look at pictures of a loved one like that. I don't think I would be able to do it. Gabby said, what's it called? I want to see it. I think it's called the Mansfield Murders or Murder. Wait, was it plural or singular? I think it was singular. I don't remember. But it's on Hulu. It's pretty good. Or ID Discovery. So if you have any service that has access to the ID Discovery channel, they have hella crime documentaries on there. That's where I've seen it. But it's on Hulu. That's where I watched it. I haven't watched the Dahmer one. Man, I used to watch these little documentaries all the time. And then after a while, you just start being like, yo, some of this shit is just too crazy, bro. But I'm still wondering what's happening with my man, Steve Avery. Do y'all leave a comment in the chat? Do y'all really think Steve Avery did that? I still am like, that's one that I'm still like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I want to believe that Steve Avery did that based on all the evidence. I don't know. Leave a comment in the chat. Do you think Steve Avery is guilty? And can we get a post check on Steve? Is Steve still alive? Somebody let me know. Alexa, is Steve Avery still currently serving time in a correctional facility?
I don't know that one.
Well, damn, if Alexa don't know, then nobody probably knows, man. I appreciate y'all. The show is over. Thank you for tuning in to Lunchtime TV. I'll be back tomorrow.